Yo, what is going on? I appreciate everybody for tuning in this Friday night where we're going to cover a few topics. As always, I'm Marcus here. I give my attorney reactions to current events, trending news, and topics. I try to keep a legal nuance to it, but sometimes I'm just up here talking about crazy shit that I see. If you get some value out of this content, you hear something you like, you see something you like, definitely hit the like button, share, subscribe, thumbs up. And hey, if you want to give extra support and become a channel member, I'm definitely appreciative. I'm appreciative of everyone who tunes in, who interacts, but I'm very appreciative and grateful for the people who are channel members who give the extra support. So if hey, channel members, y'all are the executive producers of this show. So reach out, let me know what you want to hear about. I definitely make sure you all get priority. Now, in this video, we are going to cover a few stories. First, and these are actually, I think these are actually good stories. Well, two of them are good stories. Two of them are good stories. Hey, what's going on, Paul? What's going on? How are you today? Hopefully, all is well with you. This long holiday weekend we got going on. Shout out to you for the first comment of the day. The first story is a follow-up to a story I did. I don't know if you all remember a story I did. It was on federal law enforcement doing asset forfeitures at the airport. There was one situation where a guy was just finished his sentence for some felony. I can't recall what it was. He got into the big rig trucking game. He took like $30,000 to go buy a truck in California, I believe it was, and at the Atlanta airport, he got his funds confiscated, never got his money back. There was another story about a young man whose grandfather has passed away. Grandfather left him some money. He made music. This grandson made music. He was going to California with like $10,000 cash to shoot a music video, and it got confiscated. So in that video, I just kind of gave some guidance on how you could avoid that situation. It was one thing that Republicans and Democrats weren't fond of because they probably rich as fuck, and their kids probably travel with large amounts of cash. The interesting thing was the money was getting confiscated by federal authorities, but no charges ever ensued, which makes no sense. It's completely not fair. So we're going to get a follow-up to that story. I will tell you, well, we'll get into it when we get to that story. We're also going to talk a little bit about what's going on in D.C., the 82% drop in carjackings. This has been going on over the past few weeks since the federal takeover has been on the scene, and since federal law enforcement officers and National Guards have been on the scene. I want to say is overall, I think they said a 52% reduction in crime. So you can say what you want, like it or love it or not, but hey, so far it looks like it's getting the job done. So we're going to dive a little bit into that. And we are also going to review a use of force situation that started out good, went terribly left. I want to get your opinion and take on it. I think it's patently obvious that this person kind of went way too far. And finally, we're going to talk about accountability. Parents being held accountable for the crimes that their children committed. Hey, I like it. I was just how it sounds on its face. Parents being held accountable for crimes that their children committed. It sounds good. Now there are some parameters because it depends on how old the child is and all some other things. But generally, the concept is something that just seems a little bit favorable. So let's go ahead and jump into this first story. Federal asset forfeiture. People getting their cash taken at the airport and never having charges pressed. I will tell you all, I was early on this story. Federal courts have kind of said, yo, this is kind of crazy to take people money, never institute charges against them and give it back. It wasn't being held in escrow. It wasn't being returned. What should happen if funds are taken and no charges come about within a certain time period, they should get that money back with interest. But none of that was happening. Since then, federal law enforcement agencies, DOJ is actually giving guidance. So federal law enforcement agencies has stopped these airport interdictions where they're seizing people's cash. So that's a good thing. Let's go ahead and get this update to the young man who wanted to just go make a video with the money his grandfather left him.
New at 5, a Georgia man won a legal battle after the Drug Enforcement Agency took thousands of dollars from him, even though he did nothing wrong. Channel 2 Sophia Choi is live at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in Clayton County with how this could happen to you.
Yeah, Karen, Brian Moore Jr. came here to the airport to catch a flight to L.A. He brought with him more than $8,000 to shoot a music video. But what happened to him at a gate here grounded his music career.
Now, $8,000 is a lot of cash. I don't think it's a ridiculous amount of cash to carry on a plane. Atlanta Airport is just one of them hot airports where these interdictions happen quite often.
They told me that I looked suspicious, and they were just going to take my money based off the fact that I looked suspicious.
DEA agents took the $8,500 Brian Moore Jr. had planned to spend on a photo shoot and music video in Los Angeles. You can see in this picture from that day in March of 2021, he had green hair at the time, but that is not a crime.
I hadn't done anything wrong. I wasn't doing anything wrong.
In fact, the feds never charged Moore with any crime, but they kept his money. He hired a lawyer who got his money back, but Moore was still out more than $15,000 in legal fees.
So it cost him $15,000 to get $8,000 back. I think that was an error on the attorney's part, because when the attorney took the case to get his money back, he should have asked the court for relief to include attorney's fees. I have no clue why he did it. I don't know if he forgot. It was stupid. But essentially what law enforcement would do in this situation, they would wait just before people were set to board their plane. They would go put the press on them like, hey, we need to check out your bag. We need to check your luggage. If you cooperate, you can go ahead and catch a flight. If not, you're going to miss your flight. People felt a little bit pressure. They could have just actually walked away. They weren't being detained. They weren't in custody. They could have just asked, but a lot of them didn't know. One of the questions was, well, how the hell do these law enforcement officers know who have large amounts of cash? Because the airlines are telling them. That's the only way that they could possibly know. The airlines see these guys go through large amounts of money. They notify law enforcement. Law enforcement makes the interdiction. They take the cash. Charges never came. Cash was never returned. It just given finesse.
Last week, a federal appeals court ruled the government had to pay Moore's legal bills too.
I felt a little bit of justice finally.
Earlier this year, the DEA announced it was going to suspend the program that was used to take Moore's money, but other federal and local law enforcement agencies are still using civil forfeiture to take people's cash. Dan Albin is an attorney with the Institute for Justice who filed Moore's appeal. He says civil forfeiture is driven by profit because the agencies get to keep the money they seize.
That gives them a strong incentive to engage in seizures and forfeitures of cash so that they can supplement their budget and spend that money on virtually whatever they want.
All right, real quick, I think we good on that one. Real quick, how it works when you talk about asset forfeiture, you normally will have a federal law enforcement agency doing interdictions at airports or train stations. Normally they go to places where people travel, and they work jointly with local law enforcement. Normally there's some agreement that any funds that we seize pursuant to an asset forfeiture or this interdiction, there's a split with the local law enforcement. So local law enforcement gets a percentage. That's why it's kind of advantageous, because everybody is getting to eat from the pot, and most people aren't gonna have the money that they got to do these that they're traveling with is probably all the fuck that they got. So they aren't gonna have the resources to actually try to fight it in court. Who's gonna have $15,000 to try to get $8,000 back like this young man did? So great that it worked out from him. I think it's the right call to suspend the interdictions. It is an easy fix. Really, what should happen is if a federal law enforcement seizes your money, if no charges come within a certain period of time, that person should get their money back with interest. I mean, that should be the bottom line. I don't know what that time frame is. It's debatable. Investigations into people can take years, months, years. I've seen investigations last 4, 5, 6 years. Should they be out of the money that long? Can they get a prorated amount back? But there is some middle ground, but I agree that they shouldn't just be finessing people out of their money just for profit's sakes. I generally agree with that. I think an interdiction at the airport is valid, but it can't be just fucking random. Like, that interdiction has to be based on credible evidence. Okay, I know that person A is boarding the 3:30 flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles, and we've been watching this guy. We've seen the transaction occur where it was drugs for money. We believe that money to be in this particular bag. Those instances, nobody's going to complain about an interdiction. So I generally agree. Cash shouldn't be seized unless there's credible evidence. And really, I would go along the lines of say that, hey, there should actually be some type of probable cause to actually be able to seize. Like, it should be an arrest actually being made. Otherwise, you should just observe. Hey, we know this guy is getting on plane A in Atlanta, and he's getting off at location D in California. Hey, call down, have somebody waiting at LAX, follow them, see where we go, then see if we can get more information to make the arrest. So I actually think that's a good story because it worked out how it should have worked out. That young man got his money back. He got the attorney's fees paid. He should get interest for however long they held his money, but hey, you got to start in baby steps. All right, let's take a look at this next story. Now, this next story is interesting because, well, let's just take a look at this next story just to see what's going on in D.C. and what's going on in other cities. But this is a story about guns in schools. We just had rest in peace to the victims and the children who were traumatized. School shooting shit is crazy in the United States. But let's check this story out, and then we'll talk about what's going on in this story. We'll talk about what the mayor said about the D.C. takeover, and overall, is it good or bad?
So this is what we know from court records and sources familiar with the investigation. The teenager has been charged as a juvenile with unregistered firearms, unregistered ammunition, making threats, and receiving stolen property. He made his first appearance here in juvenile court yesterday, and he was ordered held in a secure juvenile facility until next Friday. Now, as far as that photograph is concerned, that was...
All right. Now, remember, we talking about a juvenile here. juvenile charges. Let me know what y'all think. If a juvenile brings a firearm on school grounds, do you think it should be a flat rule that they should treat that charge as an adult? Should it be a flat rule across the board? You got a 15, 16-year-old who bringing a firearm on school property. I don't know. Like shit like that, crimes like that, I don't know. I don't know. Like considering what goes on with school shootings and all sorts of crazy stuff, I don't think it could. I don't think it would be the worst idea as a flatline rule. Now I know all rules aren't created equal, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. Should that be a general rule? If a minor takes a firearm on school grounds, should it, just as a matter of course, be charged as an adult crime, not a juvenile crime?
Posted to ATF's X account. That's ATF Washington X account, showing those 6 firearms as well as ammunition, and said that they had possibly interrupted and intervened in what could have been a school shooting. According to a search warrant filed in Superior Court, ATF agents working on a task force with Metro Transit Police somehow learned of what appeared to be an ominous threat posted to Instagram. A screen grab of the posting shows what agents say.
All right, so now let's back up and look at that question. This is the post they saw on Instagram. Got a gentleman's face blurred out. We see his little chain. We can see the barrel of the gun. We can see this big ass red teardrop. On my way to school. Absolutely 100%. If we looking at the facts of this, just off this image alone, I'm like, yeah, nah, this shouldn't be charged as a juvenile. Nah. It's different. I can see a situation, and I've seen situations where, like, a kid is at school getting his ass kicked, and he has a gun in his book bag, and he gets caught with it, and he says just for protection. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But this one is giving some bullshit about to happen. This image leads me to believe that this is about to be some BS that happens. I don't necessarily know if I would go along the lines of say they stopped a school shooting from occurring, because those don't really happen that common in the black community. It just don't happen. Like somebody may wait till after school, but shooting actually on schools is generally not a thing that we see in our community. Not saying it can't, it doesn't happen, but it's very rare.
Is the teen holding a gun with an image of a drop of blood coming out of the barrel. We have blurred the teen's face since he is charged as a juvenile. The message says OMW to school.
I don't know. This dude got on his little ice. He got a gun. He on his way to school, and he's stupid enough to post it on social media. When they catch him, I don't know. As a general rule, should a child who brings a firearm to school automatically be charged as an adult? In a situation, automatically probably not, because I can see some very weird situations where it would make sense. But this shit is giving goon shit. Like this picture is giving goon stuff. You know what you was doing. You posting it. You taking it with you for a reason. I don't know what this kid's prior contact is with the court, but he definitely not on the stoop kid who's on the porch. He's definitely off the porch.
Or on my way to school.
No. Did they just get rid of the video midstream? What the? Let's see. Wow. Oh man.
Today's verdict was a surprise to many. WRG's Harrison Klopp has reaction.
Oh, that's crazy. Hold up. That's crazy. They're like, YouTube was like, nah, bro, y'all not watching that video. Let's go. Hold up. That's yo, they took it down mid-video. It's not even in my history. They took it down mid video. It's not even in my watch later videos no more. Yo, that's crazy. Hold up. Let me see. Man, that's crazy. They don't want me to be great. Let me see. That's actually insane. Let's see. Where are we at? All right, here we go. Yo, that's wow. I don't even know how that happened. All right, let's get back to Mr. On My Way to School. That's crazy.
Is the teen holding a gun with an image of a drop of blood coming out of the barrel. We have blurred the teen's face since he is charged as a juvenile. The message says OMW to school, or on my way to school. A second photo shows the same teen holding a gun.
Adult. Charge him as an adult. This dude, nah, bruh. Nah, like the fact that this dude is charged as a juvenile taking a firearm to school with an extendo clip in it, bruh. I know about guns. This dude got an extendo clip in it on his way to school. That's a big fucking problem.
Wearing a backpack. According to the search warrant, officers then went to the teen's school, identified in the document as Idea Public Charter School in Northeast. Officials at the school confirmed to police the teen is a student there. However, nothing in the public filing indicates what school the teen may have been referencing in his social media post. In its posting to X, ATF Washington included this photo showing 6 guns, magazines, and ammunition. The warrant says agents found 7 guns at the home. Now, we reached out to Idea Public.
That shit crazy. So that shit crazy. That situation right there, just looking at the facts of Instagram postings, that don't seem like no juvenile shit to me. Like, I'm a big proponent that somebody needs to probably be charged as an adult. Taking a firearm on school, like, I could see if it was like I've actually seen a situation where like a kid went hunting with his father, and when he went hunting, he took his book bag and he just had like the bullets in there. And I guess like a couple of the bullets had fell out. And when he went through the school, through the metal detector, they were like, "Oh, bullets! Arrest this kid." This kid was like maybe in the 7th grade or something like that. Something like that is actually like, I'm like, that's kind of reasonable, bro. Like that's kind of unreasonable to charge this dude. Like, honestly, I'm not charging anything. I think if anything, like, all right, Dad, you need to do some gun safety courses and let the little young man do some community service or something like that. Something like that is light. This shit, as in the words of Wolverine, these YNs are different. I agree. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That says adult charge to me and nothing less. It's did not pass go, did not collect $200, go straight to jail. And since you're playing stupid games, you win a stupid prize. You want to, move like you a grown-ass person, you're going to get treated like you're a grown-ass person. So I think that is 100% the wrong charge for this young man. Now, again, I don't know if he has any prior contact with the court. He may or may not. I don't know. But I'm just not a fan. Next up, real quick, let's talk about some hip-hop. Because I thought this was an interesting story. I don't know if you all are familiar with Young Dolph. Back in the day, rest in peace, Young Dolph. Back when I was on the debt-free journey, I had a couple of videos where Young Dolph was talking about just how he moved with money. He definitely appeared to be a smart guy, just in how he spoke in his interviews when compared to what you typically see from hip-hop artists. And so, nah, it's not Drake, man. It's Yo Gotti. But Yo Gotti is allegedly, hypothetically, the person who kind of facilitated all this. But there was a trial for the person who allegedly orchestrated Young Dolph's murder. And that trial ended let's take a look to see how that trial played up. Listen to the lives that were lost after Young Dolph was deleted. This is actually insane. I didn't even know this story kind of went that deep until I saw this.
Today's verdict was a surprise to many. WRG's Harrison Klopp has.
Hold on real quick. I jacked that up.
New at 5.
Where we going? Let's go back right there. All right. He said Drake.
Today's verdict was a surprise to many. WRG's Harrison Klopp has reaction to the news and explains what could come next.
November 17th, 2021 at Makita's Homemade Cookies on Airways Boulevard. This is where the bloodshed began, as Memphis rapper Young Dolph was shot 22 times. And today, the man who was accused of setting up the hit, Hernandez Govan, walked out a free man.
He got a not guilty verdict. So for all we could say, hey, that brother didn't do it. He got a not guilty verdict. Listen to the amount of people who got deleted after Young Dolph died. This is actually insane.
Maurice Hill is the owner of Makita's.
Oh, man, that guy was great. Yeah, he was great. When he first started coming, he was kind of arrogant. He'd come in and say, what's hot? And then after asking what's hot, he would start telling us to bake him some cookies. And he'll wait on them, and we'll bake him some. But he was a giver. He was like a breath of fresh air for the city,
When asked if justice was served after the non-guilty verdict, Hill answered quickly.
No, not today with the verdict. No, sir. No, not with the verdict today. I don't think justice was served.
Laura Callums, who drove from St. Louis to pay her respects to Dolph, felt the same way.
I mean, even if you didn't pull the trigger, you're still the mastermind behind it. So you still should have did some time.
But was he the mastermind? After 3 days.
This is actually crazy. Now we're going to see who they're implying the mastermind is. But this guy, he beat the charges, so he clearly was not the mastermind.
Days of testimony, jurors clearly had their doubts. And now, with Govan being set free, the question for many is what's next? WRAG has reported on 3 deaths that are possibly related to Dolph's murder.
I don't think possibly. I think 155% positive that 3 deaths they're speaking of are directly related to this guy's murder.
Including Destiny Govan, Hernandez Govan's daughter.
The guy who was on trial who just got the not guilty verdict, his daughter deleted.
Who was killed in a Houston shooting in September of 2022. Her death came 2 months before her father was indicted in the Young Dolph case. In June of 2023, Joshua Taylor, a person of interest in Dolph's murder, was shot and killed in Orange Mound.
That's 2 people up out of there.
And in January of 2024, Anthony Big Jook Mims, the brother of rapper Yo Gotti and the man who allegedly ordered the hit on Young Dolph, was shot and killed at a nightclub in Hickory Hill. After the verdict, we drove by Privé, the Hickory Hill restaurant owned by Memphis rapper Yo Gotti, Big Jook's little brother, who notoriously was feuding with Dolph, only to find the establishment largely empty outside. In the South Memphis neighborhood where Dolph grew up, we met a man who was best friends with the rapper's father. The man had been following Govan's case closely and told us anonymously he wouldn't be surprised to see a violent retaliation.
I think it's pretty.
Hey, shout out to him for not wanting to be on camera. That story is absolutely insane. All those people died because this one guy got murdered. I don't know, but I don't know who set up what, but shit is not a coincidence. I mean, that's just kind of how it play out. I hope there's no more. I hope whatever happens, this verdict put an end to it. But I damn sure would not bet money on it.
Likely. I think when he suggested that he's going to leave town immediately, kind of suggested that there may be some type of retaliation against him.
Lemoyne Olin professor Reverend Dr. Earl Fisher, who is close with Young Dolph's family, says he wouldn't be surprised, but hopes people can let it go, come together, and heal.
I'm pretty sure I'll be texting with Dolph's child's mother, Mia. And
that's actually crazy, yo. This is actually not a good story. I hope that the court verdict puts an end to this shit, because so far 4 people up out of there, all over this situation, whatever the beef was about, labels and all of that shit. That's actually insane. I didn't know this many people were getting bodied by. I didn't know Yo Gotti had a direct family member, his brother involved. Like, come on. I don't know. That I just thought that story was weird. My son had to put me on the game because I'm old, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in these hip hop streets. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all think that this verdict is just going to kind of put an end to it? That dude definitely need to move, though. If I was him, he need to move somewhere definitely out of that neighborhood, because staying in that neighborhood, hey, that's where most people get got at, in their own neighborhood. So if I was him, I would relocate ASAP. Y'all let me know that y'all think that verdict is going to put an end to this bloodshed that's going on over this situation, or you think the shit just going to keep going. I hope it doesn't. That's actually a crazy ass story. A lot of people lost their lives, and all of that shit could have really been avoided, for real. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at a use of force situation that started out as where the perpetrator started out as a legit victim, but he took an extreme left turn to become the aggressor. So y'all let me know what y'all think on this video. We're going to go through. We're going to talk about where use of force could have been used, where it would have been probably okay. We're going to talk about the retreat rule a little bit, and we're going to talk about the easiest part, where this guy went too far. And the news is going to tell y'all, as soon as y'all hear it, y'all going to be like, yeah, bruh, I know it was crazy, but you can't do that shit.
From the station that's working for you, this is Fox 4 News at 9 p.m.
It's terrible. The whole thing is just awful. But it is the law.
Well, Fox 4 obtained some new video showing more of what led up to a deadly gas station shooting. A grand jury recently indicted Emmanuel Hernandez in one of 2 shooting deaths. I'm Bria.
They indicted him in one of 2 shooting deaths. That's actually interesting. So one of them, they was like, nah, we're going to leave you alone, bro. But the second one was kind of crazy.
I'm John Holt. It returned the same charges of voluntary manslaughter and armed criminal action. But the family of the brothers who were shot and killed questioned why the charges aren't murder. Fox 4's Dave DeMarco live at the Jackson County Courthouse tonight with the video you'll see only on Fox 4. Dave.
And I showed that video today to an attorney not involved in this case for his legal analysis of Missouri's Stand Your Ground law and its potential application here.
Stand your ground, everybody talk about it. It just means that there's no duty to retreat. Like in DC, if retreat is possible, you have to have a duty to try to retreat. Other states are like, you don't have to retreat. You can stand your ground without even having to consider if there's an exit for you to avoid the situation.
Family of Taylor and Byron Garrett say shooting last month at a Truman and Brooklyn gas station.
Real quick.
But video obtained by Fox 4 filed in the case seems to...
All right, so this is what's going on before the shooting occurs. Remember, we got to get context of everything. We got to know what happened before, during, and after to get the full picture.
Show Emmanuel Hernandez's silver Escalade and the Garrett's black Escape in close proximity on the roads for at least 3 minutes before the Escape made a turn after the Escalade at 12th and Brooklyn.
All right, these people clearly know each other. There's clearly something going on. Nobody fucking following somebody like that, riding like that, to ultimately meet in the same place, and it's just 2 fucking strangers. That just wouldn't even make any sense. So clearly there's some disagreement or some heat between these 2 before they get to the gas station.
The Garrett brothers arrived at the gas station first, and once Hernandez started towards the convenience store, surveillance video shows words briefly exchanged and the taller brother striking Hernandez and both men chasing him back.
Now, this is what I don't understand. Maybe this is just me. Let me just rewind it real quick. I don't know. Okay. I guess let's call him the defendant in this case. Let's just call him Mr. Hernandez, because it's kind of switching up, and different people could be called defendant. Mr. Hernandez is in this silver SUV. The 2 brothers are in this black SUV.
And after the Escalade,
they clearly have some smoke.
Brooklyn. The Garrett.
All right. the two brothers pull in what appears to be first. And we look all the way in the background back
Brothers
here.
arrived at the gas.
Mr. Hernandez, that looked like the same vehicle at the light. I'm not sure, but it's looking like the same vehicle. But what we know is Mr. Hernandez isn't even there yet. I don't know why you would pull into the same fucking parking lot as somebody that you got smoke with, knowing you have smoke with them. The way they were driving neck and neck on the road. That's just kind of dumb to me.
Station first, and once Hernandez.
So, yes, that's the same vehicle, same rims, look like a late model Tahoe or Escalade or something like that. Same vehicle. Why the fuck would you pull up to the same place with people you have smoke with? I do not know. So, dumb move on his part, but he's within his right to go wherever the fuck he wants.
Started towards the convenience store. Surveillance video shows words brief.
All right, so they walk. Hernandez walking towards the video. We have a guy in a white shirt punches him a couple of times.
Exchanged, and the taller brother striking Hernandez, and both men chasing him back towards his car.
Now that dude is significantly bigger than Mr. Hernandez. Just look at that image. Significantly bigger. I think he's at a numbers disadvantage, even though it appears to be just one guy punching Mr. Hernandez. You got guy number 2 over here, and if you're Mr. Hernandez, you don't know if guy number 2 walking over to aid or what. He walking over for a reason. He not staying still. So numbers disadvantage, size disadvantage for sure.
Hernandez and both men chasing him back towards his car.
Wow. Bang, bang twice.
Attorney Dan Ross says what happened outside the gas station is certainly important.
So that's a prior incident. And so that's kind of the history of, even though it's a history that's only 30 seconds old.
And under Missouri law, Emmanuel Hernandez didn't have a duty to retreat after the brothers left him at his SUV with his driver's side door open.
So what I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I'm thinking at this point, I want to rewind it back. I think after they leave, he goes in his car to get his firearm. I don't think he had it on him at the time that he was getting punched, but I think he went in to get his firearm. Just from the images, it looked like he went in and either reached in the glove compartment or somewhere, but that's why I think he went back into his vehicle.
Missouri law, Emmanuel Hernandez didn't have a duty to retreat after the brothers left him at his SUV with his driver's side door open. Once inside.
All right. Mr. Hernandez, what are you doing? You go, the guys who whip your ass, who you got the issue with, you go to the same gas station as them after they already pulled in, which probably wasn't smart. I don't know what the fuck you were getting out of the convenience store, but you could have went to another convenience store. After this dude punched you in the face a few times and the other guy was in close proximity, now you proceed to actually go in the same store. You keep putting yourself in harm's way. Generally, that's not the brightest move to do. So we got Mr. Hernandez here. We got the gentleman who was punching him in the face here. We can't see the second gentleman. He's off camera. I suspect Mr. Hernandez went into that car and got his firearm. That's why I think his posture is a little bit different here. He doesn't look as scary. He actually, to me, appears to be kind of ice grilling dude. He appears to be giving the guy the mean mug, in my personal opinion.
After appearing to argue, Taylor Garrett.
This guy gets his fucking pickle or whatever he had and immediately turns around and punches this guy in the face. Now let's see what happens after.
It strikes Hernandez again, and Hernandez.
All right. Mr. Hernandez pulls out his firearm. I'm going to give Mr. Hernandez some props. He actually looked like he had some training with his firearm, because most guys who don't have training don't pull their firearms out and go into that actual stance right there, which is a really good shooting stance.
And immediately pulls a gun from his waistband and starts firing, chasing after both men.
All right. Immediately he pulls his firearm out. Let's stop it there. He pulls his firearm out. Do y'all say yes or no to him pulling his firearm out? Is this instant justified? Let's not talk about what it said second. He started chasing the men. That's kind of wild. But let's just keep it right here where he pulled his firearm out. Now, remember, they paused this, so it kind of happened. It looked like it happened slow, but it really happened fast.
Once inside, after appearing to argue, Taylor Garrett strikes Hernandez again, and Hernandez immediately pulls a gun from his waistband and starts firing, chasing.
That was actually probably less than 1 second. From the time he got hit, that was actually a pretty fast draw. That was at maybe a second and a half, definitely less than 2. But by the time he got hit, he pulled the firearm out and started shooting. Do y'all think so far fair or so far foul?
After both men. Prosecutor Melissa Johnson said evidence showed that Taylor was the initial aggressor in the confrontation and Hernandez acted in self-defense. But she did file.
All right, so we know that Mr. Hernandez got charges on one body and not the other one. So the clear discussion here is, big dude, nobody was probably going to press any charges in your favor because everything you did in all of these videos, you were always the aggressor. It looks terrible because we're watching it in slow time, but in real time, you're talking about a lapse of 1 second to 1.5 seconds, if that. I think it's less than. I think it was 1 second for sure between the time he was hit and the time he pulled the firearm out. Do you think at this point, not knowing anything else, was he in reasonable fear of death or severe bodily harm? I'll be honest, I would say yeah. Even though he put himself in harm's way by going to the same location as them, by going into the store, luckily for him, he stays in a state that they have a stand your ground law. There's no duty to retreat. So he could get punched in the face and decide to go in the store and get a Slurpee if he so chooses. Not saying that's what he was doing.
Acted in self-defense.
I think in this jurisdiction, he's probably going to be good in this instance. Even though right now we can clearly see the guy's hands, the guy doesn't appear to have a weapon. Remember, we're looking at it at slow-ass speeds. We're looking at it. Oh, let me see something. Now I gotta check that out. Somebody just hit me up with something to show on the show. I gotta check it out first before I look at it. But so far so good. Now this is where Mr. Hernandez jacked up. Mr. Hernandez, he could have put in his wet work right here, and he would have been perfectly good to go. I think no one would have messed with him, considering there's no duty to retreat. But listen and see how, again, you got to have control of your emotions. When you don't have control of your emotions and you let the moment take over, your ego take over, you tend to go a little bit, one step farther than what you need to, and it ends up putting you in trouble.
Confrontation, and Hernandez acted in self-defense. But she did file voluntary manslaughter charges in Byron Garrett's death, pointing out Hernandez shot him as he tried to retreat, then pistol whipped him as he stood over both men's bodies on the gas station.
You did too much, bro. You did too much. Guy number one, you would have been completely in the clear. You could have actually left guy number two alone, because it's interesting that he took care of guy number one. Guy number two, we didn't hear anything in the facts about him returning fire. All we hear is he went and hunted down guy number two, shot him, and then started pistol whipping him. That's actually crazy. You have to know when to disengage from a potential threat in order to not allow yourself get into trouble. Unfortunately for this gentleman, I don't think anybody argued initially he was the victim. They kept punching him in the face, even though he kept throwing himself in harm's way. He was within his right to do so. But he just went too far. He let his emotions get the best of him. And now this dude is going to actually do time in prison. Because shooting somebody, then pistol whipping them, ain't no fucking defense against that, bro. Ain't no self-defense against that goofy stuff. So Mr. Hernandez is probably going to be screwed. Funny enough, the victim's family is asking for why isn't it murder charges? First guy, we're taking you out of the picture because it sounds like they're saying it's justified and you were clearly aggressive. Second guy, could possibly be. I haven't looked at the specific statute to see what justifies either first or second degree murder here. Could possibly be, but you could also have an argument well, we're going to charge a manslaughter because these two were together, they were in a group, maybe they were acting in concert or something to that effect. It could be some of the arguments that the prosecution considered as to why they didn't charge him with murder.
Floor.
There is no clear answer to this. That's why you really enlist the jury to tell us, is this lawful action? It's the judge can't tell anybody. The prosecutor has made the charge. The grand jury has brought in the true bill. But eventually, if it goes to trial, the jury will tell us, especially given the self-defense law and the instruction, they'll tell us whether this was a lawful act by the defendant.
I don't disagree with you at all, Paul. I think he was getting his ass whipped. He went in his car and got his gun and went back in the store and sat there and was like, if these motherfuckers touch me one more time, pardon my language, if they touch me one more time, I'm going to bring that smoke. I don't disagree. I think with regard to guy number one, though, no charges came up. I can see why they didn't file charges against guy number one. I could see someone on a jury saying, like, man, this dude minding his business. This guy keeps punching him in the damn face for no reason. And even though, again, we watched that video in slow time, but in real time, it was literally a second to a second and a half, if that, between the time he got hit and the time he pulled out his firearm. In that instance, he could have an argument that he was either in fear, probably not death, but severe bodily harm. Definitely. It was a imbalance in size. He was way smaller than the guy. It was two of them, even though we don't see the second guy appear to have engaged in anything physically. Just because you aren't punching me now don't mean if I start fighting back, you aren't going to engage. So with regard to guy number one, I could kind of understand why they didn't do charges, but I agree with you. I think, he went and got the gun and said, I'm going to go back in this store, and if they hit me, I'm going to put in this work. I think that is the case. He just went way, way, way too far. All right, now this last story is, I think, a beautiful story. You all let me know. I think we need to see more of this. I think this is actually what is needed. Now, I'll tell you how it should play out in court or what the prosecutor should do, but I don't know what they're going to do. We talked about the kid who brought the firearms to school. He posted and everything. He got the extendo mag. Unequivocally, that kid should absolutely be charged as an adult, in my opinion. But let's take a look at this next story, where son's crimes get his mother charged with a criminal offense. Y'all let me know, is this fair or is this foul?
Holding a mother accountable for out-of-control criminal behavior by her child.
I already like the word accountability. People need to be accountable for their actions. Should parents be accountable for the acts of their children who are minors? It depends. I'm not going to say as a flat line rule, yes, but it depends. It depends on the age of the child. It depends on the nature of the crimes that the child is committing. This is a little bit more nuanced to me than just saying absolutely, yes, parents should be accountable for the criminal acts that their children commit.
It's something police have been reluctant to do, but it just happened in Utica. A rare arrest, and police did it to prove a point and get other parents to exert more authority over their children. This week, police are...
I'm going to just be honest. I'm already liking it. Hey, your child out here wilding out. If you can't control that shit, we're going to control you. I'm going to just say I already like how it sounded.
Arrested 36-year-old Nutro Muhammad. Authorities say her 11-year-old son has been involved in at least 4 felonies.
All right, stop right there. 11-year-old with 4 felonies is crazy. 11 years old with 4 felonies. Now, okay, let's see. I'm assuming they charged the mother. So it's the fact that they charged the mother. I don't want to say that, hey, shout out to the black dads out there and all the dads across America. I'm not saying his father's no way around, but they charged the mother. So I don't know where dad is. It's 16, 17. It's difficult for a single mother to potentially be able to control a 15, 16, 17-year-old one, because like, hey, in the words of Wolverine, these YNs are different out here. Like, they may whip mom's ass. They may have the physical ability to whip mom's ass. At 11, though, I feel like at 11, you generally have the physical ability as a woman, unless you like, I don't know, maybe 4'2" or something like that. But I think at 11, my mom's would have fucked me up. I don't know. Y'all let me know. At 11 years old, if you actually tried to fight your mother, do you think your mother would have whipped your ass? Mama DFD would have beat the black star from me. Like, there's no way in the world that 11-year-old me would be able to take my mother. So I feel like at 11, you have the physical ability to be able to handle a child if a child get out of pocket. But 11-year-old, 4 felonies,
Robbery.
mom's arrested.
Authorities say her 11-year-old son has been involved in at least 4 felonies: robbery, fire at a Walmart, stolen cars, and more.
Robbery, stolen cars, fire in a Walmart. This dude, this kid is menace to society. This is absolutely insane. Dad across town with his real family. Oh man, that's the side baby. Hey, those are serious crimes. Robbery, 4 felonies at 11 is absolutely insane.
Because of his age, police say they can't charge him criminally. So they've turned their attention to the mother.
I'm not a fan of it. At 11 years old, if you like there are 12 and 11-year-olds who are out here in DC committing armed carjackings. Like, your age should have nothing to do with how you can be charged. It should be a multitude of factors. Your age, the type of crime, the nature with which that crime was planned, that crime was orchestrated, that crime was came into fruition. All of those things should be considered. I'm just not a fan of, he's 11, we can't charge him as an adult. I think, like everything, there's factors to consider here.
The Utica Police Lieutenant Michael Curley and I talked about some of the specifics of this case, why police and prosecutors took this very rare step, and what they're hoping comes of it.
What message do you hope that this sends to folks in Utica and beyond?
So this is a very unique situation, considering the age of the child, the amount of crimes that he's been in, the lack of the ability for the police and the community to really do anything about it, coupled with the fact that Raise the Age has just kind of run amok amongst the juvenile population, with this case in particular, and the fact that under 12 cannot be prosecuted in any criminal facility.
That's crazy. Under 12, and this dude out here committing robberies at 11.
Or family court. We felt it prudent that we had to do something in this respect.
When you arrested this mother in particular and explained why she was going to be placed under arrest, what was the reaction?
I mean, certainly she was unhappy, as dictated by our press release, and certainly I think everyone can understand that by the charge in of itself, this is not the first contact we've had with this mother. It wasn't that a simple juvenile stole a pack of gum from a local convenience store and we're charging a mother for an uncare of a juvenile. This child has been in a multitude of felonies, to include robberies, burglaries, stolen vehicles, and
I'm just being honest. I like it. In this situation, on these facts, I'm not opposed to it.
A fire at Walmart. So it's not as if these aren't just true public nuisance crimes as well. So this kid isn't just out stealing things, as we said. He's not throwing rocks through windows. This is a case where a juvenile has created a multitude of major safety issues, and the mom has just been unwilling to try to stem those behaviors.
And you're sure it's unwilling, not unable?
All right. That's a good question. All right. Hey, props to this guy for asking a good question. Are you sure it's unwilling and not unable? He 11. Like, I don't know. I need to see a picture of this kid. is this kid like 6'2", 300 pounds, and just out here running amok? Or like most 11-year-olds, I don't know. I don't know the circumstances with which he's growing up in. It's probably fucked up. I'm gonna just be honest. But at 11, a grown ass woman can lean on most 11-year-olds.
Well, I think there is a very fine line between unwilling and unable. Once you've been notified, informed, and offered services on a multitude of occasions, and you're just not taking advantage of those things, nor attempting in any facility to try to rein in your child's behavior, what are we as the public and we as the police to assist the public supposed to do?
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So he said it. We gave her access to services to help her son, and she's never even initiated or took the initiative to try to take advantage of those services. I 100% agree with it.
Allow the kid to continue wantonly committing crimes, committing violent crimes, and out there at all hours of the night without supervision. I think it was incumbent upon us just to prove a point that these kind of behaviors will not be allowed, obviously in very certain circumstances. Each and every time we've talked to mom, she either states she doesn't know where he is, or he snuck out, or he's out doing things. And these crimes aren't just occurring at 6 p.m. They're occurring at 1 a.m., at midnight.
This dude 11, bro. She just don't give a fuck. I'm not judging nobody parent, but I just don't know, like, can y'all 11-year-olds just run over? Like, I don't know. Ladies, y'all let me know. Is it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's given that she don't even care. Either she don't care, or this dude is just like, this kid is just like the Beelzebub of children, and he's just out doing his own thing and just don't give two fucks. I think that part is true. I think both are true. I just don't see how an 11-year-old can have the freedom to move like that without any control or reins. I just can't understand it. I mean, everybody's different. I don't know. Maybe his father is in the scene and like, leave my son alone. He can do what the fuck he wants. I don't know. It's just, I agree with whoever the adult is should be charged in this situation.
Later in the morning hours, in which it is their due diligence and their care to make sure their child has proper supervision. And each and every time we've encountered this child and brought him home and spoke to mom, we found that it has been a lack of all care, supervision, and neglect potentially. I mean, obviously that's a charge that can be explored later down the line, but things that just cannot continue due to one, the age of the child and the serious nature of his crimes.
Is there any worry that coming down on mom could make the life of the child worse if mom is saddled with court time, fines, whatever?
Now, that's a dumbass question. How much worse can it get? The dude is already 11 years old, committing robberies, grand theft auto type shit, and leaving out the house at 1 and 2 in the morning to commit these crimes. So that question makes no sense. Like, hey, if you take mom out of the picture and she tied up, he might get worse. It's already worse. Like, whether mom is out of the picture, in the picture, right now is already speedballing to actually becoming more and more likely that his crimes are going to elevate. And I know that they elevate. Crimes, unfortunately, as terrible as this sounds, that's just how it goes. I remember as a young defense attorney, and I was just doing misdemeanors and all of that stuff. And I was like, man, I want to do some high-level felonies. I want to do some high-level felonies. I was like, yo, what do I need to do some high-level felonies? They was like, just hold on to the clients that you got. If you hold on to a couple of those files too long, they'll graduate. And I was like, what? And sure enough, the people who were doing misdemeanors more than they should have actually graduated to do more serious crimes. So I don't think taking out moms out of the picture is going to make it worse. It's already gone to worse.
Or potential jail time, something like that things could end up worse for the kid.
Understood. It's a concern. However, I think in this case, it is endangering the welfare of the child. So we are arguing that mom's behavior has created a situation which either allows this child to act in this behavior or has been unable and unwilling to take care to cease this behavior.
That's a great argument.
So I would argue that mom's own behavior has created the situation in this child's life that he is just free and wanton to do what he wants. And we need to stem that behavior somehow. And if this requires mom to get the services, to adhere to the services, and comply with services, I think we've helped the child in the long run.
That's actually a great argument. Neglect can be, you can do an overt act to neglect something or someone, or you can neglect someone by failing to do something. Both sides of the spectrum are correct. What would be an instance? Well, if I fail to go buy groceries and there's a 2-year-old in the house who can't cook or do shit for themselves, I'm neglecting them by not doing something. By not doing something, even though I haven't done anything, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do to provide for this child. So neglect can happen from doing an overt act to neglect someone, or by failing to do an act. So I think that's an actual great argument.
In this case, Utica police say they went for a misdemeanor charge against the mother, hoping to get her attention but not upend the family. The punishment could be probation, court-ordered services. Rarely would it be jail time.
Okay, now this is interesting. I want to explain why that actually happened. That's actually interesting. They went for a misdemeanor, and the fact that they said they went for a misdemeanor, it means that there is some felony option out there, but they chose not to do that. Now, if I were a prosecutor, how would I use this misdemeanor charge against mom to hopefully correct and get some change in the behavior of the child? Well, essentially what I would do is a deferred prosecution. If mom has no prior contact with the court, and so let's say this charge is her first charge, or let's say it's not. I honestly wouldn't care in this situation. I think the misdemeanor initially is appropriate. What I would do as a prosecutor, when moms come to court, I would say, hey, now if she want to go to trial, that's fine. But I would offer her a plea agreement of 12 months of unsupervised probation. So for the next 12 months, you have unsupervised probation. You don't have a probation officer. You don't have to pay any fees. You don't have any ankle monitoring. One of the conditions of your probation is you're required to take advantage of 2 of these 3 services that we recommended previously for your son. I don't care if it's mental health treatment, if it's a therapist, if it's extracurricular activities. You have to take advantage at least of 2 of those 3 services that we offer. Shit, they were probably free. That would be condition number 1. Condition number 2 is if you stay out of trouble for the next 12 months. So when you come back in 12 months from now, you don't have a probation officer. If you don't get any new charges, mom, and you participate or make your best efforts to participate in 2 of the 3, 4, 5 programs that we recommended when your son was dealing with his shit, we'll let you slide. Then you got to give mom some deference here, because mom, you got to be responsible for making sure he get there. You got to make sure he's in that class. The kid is fucking 11. Pardon my language, but he's 11. I just don't see an 11-year-old just punching his mother in the face saying, nah, mom, I'm not going to this thing. I'm not saying it's not possible. He could pull a hammer out on his mom for all I know, but I don't think that is likely. And I wouldn't put a condition on the mother that the child has to complete all of these programs, because there's some things she can control, some things she can't. But I do agree that making sure he's there, making sure he's attending these damn things. When he's in his therapy session, if he don't want to talk, mom, you can't control that. But his ass is showing up and he's spending the requisite amount of time there. So I would give mom some type of agreement where if you can do this over the next 12 months and you stay out of trouble, we'll make your charge go away. Now, if after 12 months, mom still don't do shit, we're going to, you know what? You ain't do shit, mom. Hey, this sweetheart deal to make these charges go away is off the fucking table. Now you're going to be looking at real probation with a probation officer. And if you don't follow the conditions of the court, you're going to have an underlying suspended sentence that you got to go sit down for. And if she keep fucking up, throw the felony on her. But I like it. I think more of this needs to be done when it comes to parents being accountable for the actions of their minors. And especially in this instance, because the kid is 11. At 16, 17, I would be like, man, that dude's 16 or 17. His mother can't do shit with him. What mom's going to do? He out there. I mean, shit, normally by 13, 14, even younger most places, but at least like real street shit, 13 to 14, kids is deep in the game at 13 to 14. This kid already committing robberies at 11. So I like it. You all let me know what you think. Do you all think, based on the nature of his charges and the fact that she apparently never made any effort for all the services that were offered, do you think a misdemeanor was appropriate, or should it have been a felony child neglect charge? I guess would be question number one. But question number two is just, what do you think of this? Should parents be accountable for the actions of their children? And if so, what is that age limit? Because I'm less inclined to hold a parent accountable for the acts of a 16 or 17-year-old. But for 11-year-old, yeah, let's hold them accountable. That's kind of my take. Yo, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm about to jump off here because I need to go down and watch this new episode of Dexter because your boy getting sleepy. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, I'm grateful, appreciative. Y'all have a good one. Make sure y'all grill out, do some barbecuing, get some rest. Whatever it is, enjoy time with your family. Have a good one, Paul, Wolverine, Maddie, Maui, everybody in the chat. I love y'all. I'm appreciative. Y'all be safe. Be blessed. Peace.